I've decided to retool my show completely. I am no longer Angry Joe. I am Magical Joe.
Why are you gay?
This is the weird one. This is where it got weird. So he's like, I'll post about Trump every time you do my love.
Oh, bro.
It's so gay.
Yeah, man. One of the final stages of TDS is gayness.
No, you can't deny you are gay. And you got gay friends who are telling everyone how you became the gayest of all of them. Shame.
What's up, everybody? You know what I miss? I miss when Angry Joe had balls. I used to watch his videos regularly, like, 12, 13 years ago. It's kinda crazy thinking back to it, but yeah, I remember finding his channel around 2013 or so, binging everything that he had and staying tuned to new reviews. And even though I disagreed with some scores along the way, I always saw him as a great voice for gamers regardless, due to just saying what he had to say without worrying about whether or not he shouldn't say it, because of securing review copies or invitations to preview events, so on and so forth. Don't ask me about his movie reviews though, some things should remain unsaid. In recent years though, I've no idea what happened to this guy, but politics have rotted his brain to such an extent that every other day he crashes out about something. I only touched on this once before, which was on this video here featuring both him and the Act-Man complaining about a right-wing government page, right, because currently it's the right that is in power in America, using Halo memes as like a recruitment post. Nothing that is even that different from what the left likes to do, where they take media and appropriate it to their political views. You know, they like to stay in touch with the culture. It's even a big ingredient as to the recipe to their relevance over the past few years. It's just that the left would usually be like, hey, come on over here and be gay with us, or do these very vague generalizing statements such as, hey, support trans rights, without diving into the complexities of these issues, such as, for instance, whether it's fair for women to compete in physical sports against trans women or not. So basically it all just slipped by as clouds and rainbows. But the riot is more like, hey, join ICE and let's deport more illegals. Or more recently with videos showing shit blowing up.
I bet you don't even know Hulk Hogan's last name.
It's Hogan.
What? Fuck. Is it?
So yeah, you know, the vibe is a little different, and some people have different ideas of what is and isn't appropriate for government pages to post or joke about, and that's fine. People can discuss that, you know, I'll leave it to the politics channels. But what bothered me and prompted that video was that was supposed to be an example of hypocrisy from content creators and gamers who have been flaming the games industry to stop pumping socio-political messaging, programs, and agendas, such as DEI for example, into gaming. It was meant to be like, oh, so you want politics out of gaming, but when the right does it, then that's fine. I see how it is, chud. When in reality, that was an utterly delusional comparison, because the government page does not own Halo. It has zero power over the franchise or the direction of the games, as is quite evident. This is what Halo is now. This is the content that gets put into it. Right-wingers have no power over it, very clearly so. Not even the Orange Man himself can dictate what goes into Halo. But the current people who do have power and control over Halo's direction over at Halo Studios and of course Xbox have been pumping socio-political nonsense into it, and honestly, broadly throughout nearly all of Xbox's first-party games for years. And it's obviously of a left-wing nature. And so that was an actually palpable bit of hypocrisy that bothered me and got me to make that video. It's that for years, we've seen the games industry succumb to actual socio-political and cultural influence, getting literally forced into it. inviting activists to poison studio culture, introduce rules and tribulations such as this list of creative restrictions, teaching how to make games political at events like GDC, affecting review scores, and Game of the Year requirements based on the nature of the content in the games. And I don't mean the quality of it, I mean nutcase-driven ideological bullshit such as diversity quotas, gender of characters, amount of lines spoken by women or characters of color, inclusion of LGBTQ+ elements, presence of problematic character designs, insensitive dialogue lines and plot points, so on and so forth. Just a bunch of insufferable garbage that may very well still be there. It's hard to tell because games coming out now are games that, you know, have been in development over the past few years, and the games being done right now this second are only due in 1 year or two. For the smaller ones, of course. The bigger ones, well, that's another story. But despite all of this, Joe didn't bother to ever call any of it out. Well, in a way, he kind of did call it out and allude to it, at least to an extent, around 4 years ago. But when things got really bad and egregious, he didn't. He lost his balls and he started backing the same system that was throwing him overboard 10-15 years ago already. I'll show some examples of this later on. But during the height of these issues in 2024 and 2025, with all manner of insane information and shady dealings being exposed, Joe said nothing. But the moment some edgy intern on a government page uses a Halo meme, suddenly all hell breaks loose in Joe's mind, and on top of that, people like myself are supposed to be hypocritical or whatever for not calling it out despite the total lack of logic. Like suddenly, as a gamer who is concerned and sick of this influence inside of the games industry, I'm supposed to be painted as a hypocrite because a government page that I don't even follow or recognize or concern myself with, from a whole other country that has nothing to do with my own, posts something on a goddamn website I barely use. I'm supposed to be hypocritical for not caring about something that has nothing to do with me or Halo or any other game franchise, while at the same time, the official Halo page is posting this type of content every other month to celebrate some other kind of social cause instead of just piping down and giving me proper Halo content. Like, what are you, stupid?
Yeah!
To put things into even more perspective, guys, around the time Joe was moaning about this, Sweet Baby Inc. activists were going around making this presentation about reshaping cozy games into embracing Marxism. And no, I'm not kidding, it's a real thing. It's called decolonizing cozy games. You can check it out for yourselves online. It's a whole thing about how unconscious bias has indie developers creating very harmful video games, apparently, that are hurting marginalized people because of basic progression systems based on currency and experience. So literally the concept of, for instance, in a farming game, tilling the land and, getting crops and making money from it, plus gaining XP to level up, being bad, being harmful and triggering to people because it enforces white and imperial coded concepts such as capitalism. One of the things that is listed as a pitfall to avoid in making these games is too many white people. This is an actual industry presentation, fellas. This isn't like some retard in a corner of the internet on 4chan or Reddit or whatever. This is a presentation that says too many white people. Do I even need to say anything else here? Anyway, if you want to have a good laugh, I went through the pain of looking into it and putting it together in a nice video format, trying to rationalize their deluded arguments and roasting the ever-loving shit out of it in this video. I'll link it in the description and the top comment if you're interested. Angry Joe didn't say anything at all about literal political activists who have already invaded AAA, now invading the indie space as well. According to him, this and everything else we've been going through for years in gaming isn't worth crashing out over. But a post from Homeland Security was. So that was then. That was last year. And over time, I've kinda kept my eye on him, although honestly not even on purpose. It's just that I follow him on X, and so anytime that he passes out and loses his mind over something, his posts immediately reach the top of my page, and for good reason too, because the posts are total cinema. This man totally loses it. He gets as angry as he got when Battlefield 4 was crashing to desktop every 15 minutes.
Are you fucking serious? No, okay. No. Fuck. Oh.
And those posts always get a lot of comments and attention, cooking him for his dumb takes. This became so frequent that I stopped keeping track, honestly. I just chalked it up to Joe getting old and catching a severe case of TDS, and that was it. I didn't bother talking about it again until today, because once again, his delusions touch on the entertainment industries, and when that happens, I just can't help it. I have to rant. I have to show where the flaws in the logic are. So without any further time to waste on context or anything else, unless of course you want to drop the video a like, let's jump into what's going on right now. The latest spurg out related to this came recently during the trailer for the upcoming Supergirl movie, even though none of it even has anything to do with the Supergirl movie or the trailer itself. If you're not in on the loop, this is basically what happened. Trailer drops, and then Variety releases this article where the actress for Supergirl says, "I know I'll already face backlash for simply existing as a woman in a franchise IP. We have become very comfortable having this weird ownership over women's bodies. I can't really stop them, I can only be myself." Variety posted this so fast after the trailer that for some people, myself included, this was the first thing we even saw. Before we even got the trailer, we got Variety, a parasitic garbage media outlet, and the main actress already whinging about things that didn't happen and attacking the audience for hatred of women. I may criticize the games industry for this blame the audience type of thing, but fellas, when it comes to this, no other industry holds a candle to the movie and TV show industry. Their excess media is relentless, and the amount of times that this happens where actors, directors, managers, journalists, etc. gather together to antagonize their own audience is crazy. They do it after the fact, and sometimes they do it like this here, where it's before it even happens, and so if criticism does come, then they can label it as such and call it a day. They did it with The Acolyte too, as a recent example from 2024, and funnily enough, we have a recent example in gaming too. Remember Star Wars Outlaws? The main actress, Humberly Gonzalez, was doing the media circus, giving out the same kind of quotes for game journalists to publish. She was working overtime to get noticed and not only get a sequel, good luck with that one by the way, but also get noticed by Disney themselves and offered a live-action gig where that forgettable-ass character and her pet rat would now exist in the main Star Wars cinematic universe, with her, Humberly Gonzalez, reprising the role. So she was trying really hard to make a name for herself with this kind of dislikable cringe. And lo and behold, what happened when the game released and it was so insanely broken that the stealth system in the stealth game didn't even work? Well, all the valid criticism got swept up under the gamers are actually just women haters and that's why they're complaining. It's just as the actress said. She nailed it, guys. It's almost like games media was already setting that up with her to diminish the value of the inevitable criticism. Same thing happened with Assassin's Creed Shadows too, but unlike this case where it was an actor, it was actually just the CEO of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot, who has been sinking that company for years now. He took all the criticism that the game got and swept it under the racism rug. And this was before launch too, this was during the announcement. But for Angry Joe, none of this happened, and he doesn't see anything wrong at all in a terrible outlet that specializes in nothing but rage bait. Apparently putting out an article like this when the trailer wasn't even out yet because, oh yeah brother, there ain't no way that they didn't already have this ready to go before the trailer dropped. They had this article ready to roll out, dude. dude, because it doesn't even matter if it's true or not. What matters is selling the narrative. So apparently this kind of thing happening to Angry Joe is perfectly normal. He doesn't see anything wrong with it. It looks fine to me. So anyway, what happened after Variety dropped the article is some people from the erotic circle, and frankly many others, like again, we'll get into this in just a second, but long story short, nobody wants to hear multi-millionaires whinging. Just promote your movie and move on. So it wasn't just the erotic circle, it was regular fans like me and you noticing the weird hostile approach and criticizing it. Namely though, Chris Gore shared it saying, Rachel Zegler energy. He was also in his replies that Nerdrotic typed this, noting the red flag as well. You guys can go ahead and pause if you want to read the whole thing, but it's not going to be very relevant here, except for the part in regards to Michael Keaton. But I'll bring it up again when we get there. This made Angry Joe very, angry, and he responded with this. Actress responds reasonably. Chris Gore and his buddies have a disingenuous fit. Rachel shat on the source material. Millie says all she can do is the best she can. Her, right? Did y'all even read it? She didn't even insult you weirdos and y'all still knee-jerk. You and Nerdrotics would never be happy unless all females shut up about shit they deal with sometimes, completely. Why it triggers y'all so? I have no idea. It's real little dick energy. Y'all already here proving it right, desperate for the next Brie Larson video generator. Godzilla's approaching the generator. The generator is losing power.
Godzilla's approaching the generator is losing power.
Sorry fellas, anyway, let's move on. By the way, Nerdrotic, Michael Keaton, who you mentioned, did the same. He dealt with it and commented about his body too. Audiences' expectations of his body not being muscular enough. Hate mail he dealt with, etc. But you know he's a dude, so y'all didn't knee-jerk and warn him to shut the f*** up. Plus the internet wasn't a culture war shitfest back then. This character in comic is literally everything y'all asked for. The opposite of a Mary Sue, someone who actually earns it, and here you are, ready to treat it all the same. It's f***ing boring, guys. I get it's what your audience expects, but have some integrity and surprises for once.
Why are you gay? No, you can't deny you are gay. And you got gay friends who are telling everyone how you became the gayest of all of them. Shame.
Now fellas, this is what kills me with Joe. He's been around the games and entertainment industry for a long time now. He should know how fake it is. Hell, he knows how fake it is because he used to criticize it in the games industry all the time. Joe even had a bitter beef with Jeff Keighley. He straight up had beef with one of the least malicious game journos we've ever goddamn seen.
That little smile he has? That is years of training.
Like, make no mistake, I got my issues with the structure of the Game Awards. I got my issues with how it gets more and more mainstreamified and corporate and often ignores great games in favor of games that have a lot of clout instead, or slots having to be given away to the corporate masters of the industry instead of being given to smaller studios. I got issues with the people's vote only being worth like 10%, while 90% goes to biased game outlets that have already their own Game of the Year listings anyway. But compared to the garbage that oozes out of outlets like IGN, Kotaku, The Gamer, etc., Jeff Keighley is a goddamn saint. And Joe had beef with the dude. He used to hate his guts before they hashed things out. Joe was also exposed to a lot of PR fakeness, red tape, and stonewalling when he began going to conventions with his own microphone and his own camera, trying to do independent games journalism. trying to score his own interviews to ask his own questions because the actual games media was bought and sold, so they never asked any real questions. It was all just softballs and PR schemes. And Joe didn't always manage to get these interviews because the industry hated him for being honest and more so for being blunt. And the times where he did score an interview, he would have PR people standing at the ready to terminate his interview the moment that he asked something that they specifically told him not to ask.
Hey guys, so here it is, the Xbox One console interview with Major Nelson. I gotta say it is a little bit rough because it was basically an impromptu interview. I literally caught him in between bigger interviews. And so I definitely had a piece of paper and I was referring to your guys' questions on that one. I don't do that for any other interview, but I definitely didn't want to mess this one up. So sorry for that if that bothers some of you guys that I'm looking down at the paper.
Is that limiting? Or the fact that we're a family and you can check you could check games out of the family library, but if you don't even need the physical disc anymore, is that limiting?
No, not. But you're building the infrastructure in order to allow DRM. So you say only I participate.
This isn't about.
Okay, next question. All right. Well, that was a really important question. Okay, cloud gaming. So one of the new features of the Xbox.
It sucks I didn't have more time, and you'll notice that if my eyes go off in one direction, I'm staring at some of these handlers that are really like mad dogging me at that point. So that made me a little bit more like nervous or not nervous, but more rushed, which leads to sort of a kind of rushed or poor interview as far as the questions go. But I tried my best, and hopefully I don't disappoint you guys.
But despite this experience in that universe, Joe has completely forgotten all about it, or he's choosing to close his eyes off to it. Seriously guys, the access media in Hollywood can be even more vicious and captured than the games media, and yet he's over here defending them and the narratives that they maliciously use actors to push. The actress didn't just spout that out of nowhere, she was led into it by Variety because that's what Variety does. They're not here to talk about the superhero movie, they're here to use it for the same old tiresome agendas that they've been pushing for years now. They literally scour these events looking for stars to say stupid culture war shit so they can then spin it in their own website and videos. It's actually sickening to watch because they have this one weird interviewer dude who looks like he's dead inside while listening to normal comments from stars like about the movies or whatever, but as soon as one of them takes the bait and starts going off about LGBTQ+ representation or current day orange man politics, his weird-ass face springs to life with a huge grin as he begins to nod in agreement, kinda like that popular meme of Jack Nicholson acting crazy.
Agatha is the gayest project Marvel has ever done. Agree?
I would agree with that, yeah. I think witches are queer inherently just because we are outcast and set aside for many reasons, and I think this show shows a really good representation of different types of people, and that we can all use the power we have within to go forth and be great.
I'm told, I've seen the first episode, but Agatha is the gayest Marvel project yet. Do you agree?
It better be, because that's what I signed up for. I think it is.
I chose instead a life that was authentic, a life that was gay. I fell in love with a beautiful woman who's crying her eyes out right now. It's really funny.
To be honest, this just makes me want to make more aggressively queer games. Fuck the hate. I don't do this for you. I do this for 15-year-old me, who thought they would never make games or be the woman they knew they were.
I really passionately want to tell LGBTQ+ stories. There's lots about the character that I've never had the opportunity to play before.
She's slightly genderqueer in that people mistake her for being a boy and a man, and she's like, yeah, great.
But
who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me.
Pose queer joy, and as a result of that queer joy, I felt safe enough to pour my grief and pain and all that nonsense and joy and love into this incredibly beautifully written character.
You have to force behaviors. At Blackhawk, we are forcing behaviors. 54% of the incoming cast are women. We added 4 more points in terms of diverse employment.
The generator is losing power.
What we're doing internally, if you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation will be impacted. Okay, we're doing the same thing. So it's just you have to force.
Godzilla is approaching the generator. The generator is losing power.
This is what Variety tries to bait out. This is what they want. This is what has been going on since years. They want to antagonize people. Disney became a world champion at antagonizing their audience with divisive politics and attacks with deliberate lies, and it has done nothing but screw them over in the long run with all of their garbage flopping. But of course, while it is flopping, they keep on putting out narratives like these, blaming it all on toxic fandoms, bigots, and a boatload of isms and phobias. What Variety is doing here, alongside the actress, is the oldest trick in the book. Antagonize the fandom, accuse the audience of delusional shit like owning women's bodies, and push for more of the same tiresome, "Oh, woe is me, it's so hard to be a woman in the movies" activism grift. Apparently actresses are a new thing. They never existed before. It's the first time we're having women in movies. You know, what's really entertaining to me is that while that guy, Harvey Shitstein or whatever his name was in power over at Hollywood, all of these motherfuckers said nothing. If anything, they praised, glazed, and worshipped him. Now that he's in jail, suddenly the industry is filled with problems. And the best part of the joke is that it's your fault. It's you watching this video right now. You're the problem, you're the piece of shit. If it was up to them, they'd probably vote to get Harvey out and shove you guys in his cell instead. These people are goddamn ridiculous. And Joe, as someone with experience in the medium, should know better than to fall victim to the clown show that's going on in front of all of us. For years now, man. Like, it's not even a new thing, and it's not a partisan thing either. Dogging on Hollywood elites and their shitty culture wasn't political until Hollywood made it political. Like, it wasn't a partisan thing. But since Hollywood got very cozy with the left, now if you criticize it, you're supposed to be a right-winger chud elite level 99. Gigadarius Chud Maximus Ultramarinus or some shit, I don't know. But regardless of that, I'll check Joe's arguments on their own. Even though I hate reading what he said, it's kinda cringe, fellas, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to rephrase it in my own way, otherwise I can't get through this section. I've tried like 3 times already, and I've had to delete the recording. So Joe said that Rachel shat on the source material, and Millie just said that all she can do is the best she can. First of all, that's not even the truth. It's already ignoring the worst part that Millie said, plus what the article was about. Joe gets really mad at this, like, "F her, right? Did y'all even read it? She didn't even insult you weirdos, y'all just knee-jerk." Like, what is all this spice for? They didn't attack the girl. It's just that what she's saying makes no sense. It has no bearing in reality or in her business. Doesn't that all belong during a time where she should be promoting her movie? And it's attacking the audience and contributing to this same destructive culture that dominates Hollywood. I'm not even going to bother with the rest of that paragraph there because dude is just spazzing out. Like, Neurotic works with women on his show. What do you mean? He's never going to be happy unless all women in the world shut up. Bro works with women, he has women on his panel shows. Joe, on the other hand, works with guys. 2 of them now, and before it was 2, it was 3 with Delrith. In his mind, he can do this while being a protector of women and all this other shit, but he looks at Nerdrotic, who works with women, and he's just making him out to be this women-hating figure with 0 reason, no argument made, no nothing. Like, he's purposefully misunderstanding the situation, or he's just that stupid, bro. Now the thing with Michael Keaton was interesting because yeah, Nerdrotic mentioned it. He wrote it in his own comment, also threw in other names in there. It's right there. But I guess Angry Joe didn't get the point either. The point is that everyone gets hit in Hollywood, and especially when it comes to movies and franchises with very big and very strong fan bases, you know, stuff like comic book movies, Star Wars, other sorts of fiction. The way the media wants to paint it is that it's man bad and poor women. And the worst part isn't even the concept of noticing things and criticizing them, it's using them, dude. That's the shit part. It's that it's not even in good faith, it's just to use this shit to push politics into space. While realistically and proportionately, it's not just women who get criticized on social media. If men have to catch the same kind of fire, they will. Point is, it was never fashionable to go on camera and make cringe generalizing statements about their audiences, because nobody really gives a shit about men. If a man comes out and he starts whining, oh, well, was it treated well in a fandom? Nobody gives a crap. But with women, of course, it's a bit different, because over here in the West, as much as these journalists and etc. would like us to not believe, people are more protective of women. And it would honestly be fine if it was just normal and it was actually a real valid thing to do, but it's not. It's become a circus. It's all about accusing fandoms, audiences, content creators of being terrible people who claim ownership over women as if they were third-class citizens or pieces of meat. And they had nothing to show for it either. It's one thing to target those who targeted you, like if you come in with evidence like, hey, look what's been happening to me, we gotta stop this, guys. But the actress and Variety showed nothing. They're just LARPing. All it is the same old classic of, hey, here comes a big movie, instead of focusing the marketing and the material around it on just Supergirl, you know, as in the movie, let's just turn it into more gender nonsense. It's just so tiresome, brother. Like, promote the movie and shut up. In his final paragraph, he's also going off about the character too, like, what is this for? Who are you boxing here, John Cena? And nobody said anything negative about the damn character or the movie. There's not even any movie yet, it's not out. They weren't shitting on it, they were criticizing a garbage outlet for doing what it always does, and an actress for an L take. And it's rich that he brings up integrity, while he's over here defending the same kind of garbage that he used to fight against and be forced to deal with years ago. Stuff that he doesn't do anymore because he got hit with a lethal dose of TDS. Joe has been utterly unbearable in the last 2 years, and dear lord, it is legitimately a hard case of TDS. It's the only answer to this puzzle. It's not like Angry Joe ever liked the Orange Man, I'm sure he didn't, and it's not like he even has to. It's also not like he didn't have some L takes along the way, here and there, especially when we touched on the realms of politics or certain controversies. But ever since 2024, bro just loses it on main constantly. Trump will be like, I don't know, taking a shit or something, and this dude is losing it for no reason. Like, I don't know, maybe he watches a report from CNN on the dangers of the climate crisis and how water shortage is a primary concern for Americans, and so maybe like freaks out because, oh hell no, the Orange Man's shits require like 3 flushes. He's single-handedly condemning thousands of American families into drought. What the fuck am I talking about? Like, I don't know, guys, I wish I could lay it out better for you, but I generally don't get it. Like, you have to understand something about me. I have my own fair share of politicians in my country that I hate. In fact, hating politicians is kind of a national sport for us. We do it professionally over here. One thing we did after we attained freedom of speech after our revolution was make puppet shows on TV shitting on politicians. Whole parodies with puppets that looked just like them. Used to be on TV every night when I was growing up. I watched it with my grandparents. Side note, it's gone now, by the way. We don't do those anymore because, funnily enough, everyone likes to say the right wing are the fascists, right? But the further over here in Europe we go towards the left, the less free speech we have. That's why we don't have those puppet shows anymore. Can't criticize our lords and saviors, the politicians, unless they're conservative, of course, then, you know, it's open season. If they're right wing, let's go. But anyway, sorry, back to the thing. Fellas, We are professional, natural-born politician shitters over here. We have all stars that even got themselves jail time for corruption, my dudes. And yet, I have never fallen down to such a point as Angry Joe here, where I let politicians I hate live rent-free in my head, dominate my mind entirely, to the point where I'm now going to forego everything I've ever learned firsthand of covering corrupt entertainment industries, fake gaming outlets, rotten access media, etc., just because being against them and calling out their bullcrap means siding with conservatives like Neurotic and Geeks and Gamers. Like, ew man, ew, disgusting. Chuds are nasty, conservatives are cringe. Me? Nah, I'm a progressive male specimen, which means I'm going to cuck myself and my audience out to the same tactics that I've been demonizing us for years.
The final stages of TDS is gayness. So it turns you gay,
Like even as early, or early-ish as 2022, which to be fair is already 4 years ago, the Angry Joe acknowledged this annoying oversensitive pacification of content, this pressure from political correctness being shoved into media. He made several skits making fun of it and criticizing it in his review of the Saints Row reboot. And now he pretends as if this doesn't exist or didn't get even worse over the past 4 years. Things that get impacted by these same mechanisms using the media for cover. Activists in gaming studios, publishers, localizers, consultants, ethics departments, DEI positions, etc. didn't just spawn there overnight. They infiltrated the industry and took it slow, growing that partially throughout the years. Bit by bit pushing for more, using opportunities like this and establishing their culture in entertainment, which games journalism and access media had a lot of influence over as well.
Go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
And if I can't sell them on, hey, don't do that, I can instill fear by suggesting that once it gets past us, someone else will take them down for this.
At some point, the Angry Joe just fell asleep at the wheel or straight up began covering for it himself, as he did in this situation and as he demonstrated in the Halo situation last year. But anyway, have a look at these clips from Angry Joe's review of Saints Row Reboot from 2022. Legends say that this is one of the last moments in history where Angry Joe's balls were visible. Enjoy.
Give me them big ass titties. Give me them
Mr. J-O-E?
Yeah.
I'm Bill. I'm from the studio. I've been faxing you for weeks now.
The hell you want fax? The hell's a fax?
Yeah, the studio's concerned about your overall appeal and marketability, so I wanted to go over some things with you just to make sure that nothing here offends anybody.
Hell are you talking about? Which tracks of mine did you want to change?
Well, first on my list is Drop That Dookie, the remix. And then there's All You Can Eat Big Booty Bitch Buffet.
Yeah, that's hot!
That's too demeaning towards women.
What?
Same with Ho Ho Ho's Hoedown, A Christmas Carol. Highly offensive.
Oh, hell no! That's my featured track!
Assassination.
Yeah.
Far too crude. Originally, we all loved the idea of Brown-Eyed Girl, Van Morrison. It's great.
Yeah.
Old and new.
Yeah,
and then we realized it's a song about you staring into a woman's sphincter.
Yeah.
It's definitely not okay.
Yeah, the booty hole.
Yeah. So that's not gonna work, and that's...
But wait a minute, that's all my tracks, dog.
Yeah. So we're really hoping to, bring you into, the Zoomers, TikTok, and Fortnite.
Zoom who?
You know all that stuff. So we have some suggestions for you. Take a look at this. How about this one? All my homies got beef with beef. We really feel we can reach the vegetarian and vegan movement.
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. Well, what about this one? All my ilk drink soy milk.
That is awful. That's corny, man.
Well, we can.
I ain't singing that.
We can replace soy with hemp milk, maybe oat milk. Right now, we've got a group. It's two grandmas, and they spend all day on Facebook. And according to them, alternative milks are really hot on young people's minds. What if we do this one? I'll only toss your salad if it's organic.
Bro, have you considered that trying to change my image is a perversion of my originality, and that you just trying to mass market me and change everything around? It ain't gonna fly with my homies back home, you see? You messing everything up, dog.
We'll just have to find someone else then.
Goddamn right you will.
Soy, milk,
OJ Mushmouth.
milk. Soy, milk.
All right, Saints, we need to make a name for ourselves in this city. People gonna know who he is. We need mission ideas, real dastardly stuff.
Ooh, I got one.
Joe, let's go.
What if we put fake sale tags on different grocery items? That way customers go to the register, then bam, full price.
Yeah, nah, man, I was hoping for something a little better. Come on, boys.
All right, I got an idea.
We're talking mean stuff.
All right, what if we go directly after the other gangs? Infiltrate their bases
Yes,
in
infiltrate.
the middle of the night, and then we switch out their coffee for decaf.
Ooh.
Low caffeine, it's gonna give them maybe light headaches in the morning.
You know, I don't think y'all understand what I'm saying here, man. This is weak ass shit.
Okay.
All right.
They
Joe.
love their cars. Let's go after their cars.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna go grab them, steal them.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna paint them a little pink. Maybe even a little purple.
Oh shit, purple? That's our color.
Sick of this.
All right, I got one.
This is the last time.
They all own businesses, like their fronts, right?
Yeah.
What if we give them bad Yelp reviews? Say like we saw like bugs in their restaurants and like the fries were cold or something, and then they may have to close down.
That's a good idea.
This what the Saints is now. Fuck this game, man. I'm out. And they fucking removed the dildo bat? They removed the dildo bat. Do you know how much trouble we went to get that thing in the first place?
Now, I'm not gonna buy it.
Yes, you are.
That's fucking weird.
The final stages of TDS is gayness.
It was so fun to use, but no, that's too risque for this game. But apparently, I could just have my out the whole fucking time.
Listen, fellas, if I'm being too harsh or unreasonable here, I apologize. It's just that this type of stuff is a legitimate pet peeve, and I'm so tired of seeing it. It feels like a regression. It feels like the kind of thing that we would be arguing or discussing in 2024 when this kind of pervasive shit wasn't so obvious. So you had to point it out and be like, hey, look, see this, see this that they're doing? It's fake. But in 2026, to still be having this conversation with massive content creators is so surreal. You know what I mean? It's like nobody cares anymore, not even the activists. You saw what I just showed you guys about the whole decolonizing cozy games thing. They don't even hide it anymore. They're doing what they're doing out in the open, in full view of everyone. Like they literally stop like doing the whole pretending thing, and they're just laying their cards out and being like, hey, this is what we're doing, suck it up. But with Angry Joe, I don't know, it's like he's been asleep or something. But regardless, I'm gonna set all that aside and just get to the crux of the situation. At the end of the day, this really just comes down to audiences being tired of getting nagged at for shit that didn't happen and for no reason. It's just malicious preamble to set up for the same old story we've been seeing for years now. If a show is bad and it gets criticized, it's not the studio's fault, it's the audience's fault. Because, oh, they hate women, or oh, they hate black people, or oh, they hate gay people, you know, so on and so forth. That alone is bad enough, but then there's another angle that's also really weird. Who wants to hear actors who are making millions whining about their job? Like in general, this is one of those things Hollywood has created entire circle jerks around because they wanted actors to be more than just actors. They wanted them to be symbols and spokespersons and social impact advisors, straight up activists whenever possible. They wanted them to have weight and influence that goes far beyond just their job of acting in whatever they're working on. That's why movie stars like we had when we were kids, or from our parents' eras, don't exist anymore. Now they're all just obsessed with giving you their take. Or, you know, I know I showed this recently, but I'll show it again, making little fake videos talking about who to vote for. Or LARPing as revolutionaries like Giancarlo Esposito did, ending up looking like one of those deranged aristocrats from the Hunger Games instead.
White men are exerting their power to suppress our own people, thus creating a feeling of civil war in the streets. And for me, I have to speak out that we will not be iced out. This is not going to happen. This is time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know that's what they're starting. No more. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it. They can't take us all down. It would they'll kill 550 million, however, but the rest of us would survive.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
This is time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know that's what they're starting. They can't take us all down.
When I hire you to kill the Batman, you shut the hell up and kill the Batman!
No more. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
And so with all this comes this very annoying pampering and pandering. Social media also plays massively into this. It makes actors kind of always be dialed into this celebrity worship type of thing whenever they're running their own social medias and getting glazed and worshipped every day. I really don't think that that's good for the mind and for the ego. And the more it goes on, the cringier it gets, because really nobody cares. An actor who scores from hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars per contract, where all they got to do is play pretend in fantastic projects that people would give their left nut to be involved in, let alone earn so much from... Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked again. So an actor who scores millions of dollars for just acting, being seen whining, is like watching some motherfucker at a restaurant going, "Oh waiter, my steak is too juicy and my lobster is too buttery." Nobody cares, man. Just do your job. If you're a man like Michael Keaton, for example, and you gotta get into a superhero body, or you're Christian Bale and you have to lose loads of pounds and look downright sick for a role, or a woman in any similar position where a role requires specialized training and diets, just do it. You're getting breathtakingly paid for it, after all. It's the job. It's not men or whatever dictating how you should look or having ownership over your body. It's your job, brother. A well-remunerated one. That's a word, right, guys? Remunerated, right? Like well-paid, a well-paid job. Anyway, just do your thing. Enjoy your work. You were blessed with a one-of-a-kind type of ticket that a lot of people would give their right nut for. Both of them, straight up. Be professional, do your thing, stay cool, and we'll be here to watch your movies. But all this whining, together with these journos, all the virtue signaling, all the social-political posturing, all the crying about, "Oh my god, it's so terrible, woe is me, I was paid more than what most people make in 10 years to do a job in the industry, and the industry is like not sucking me off and feeding me caviar and croissants at the same time. How am I even supposed to go on?" Brother, sister, sweetheart, nobody wants to hear it, frankly. It's like when Hassan Piker was whining about how 9-to-5 jobs don't exhaust people mentally as much as streaming does. Like, oh no, poor content creator gets to get out of bed in his mansion, go to his streaming room, and talk about whatever he wants. Show whatever video he wants. Take a break and leave it running whenever he wants to exit the room. Shock his dog without any repercussions. And even take any days off that he pleases, because he's his own boss and he's making millions. Like, for goodness sake, get some self-awareness, man. If you're in a tough position and you got issues, like absolutely, all kinds of backgrounds are prone to mental issues. Rest in peace to the homie Robin Williams, for example. But take it off screen. Go offline, get yourself some friends to talk to or a therapist. But lecturing the audience isn't ever going to click, nor does it even fix the mental issue. It only makes it worse. Just antagonizes people. It's not gonna work. It's not smart. Like, why would you even want to make it public in the first place? Personal issues must be dealt with personally. That's the way to sort it out. Airing it out is a bad idea, especially if you're doing it with parasite journalists who will just make use of it to push agendas and then discard you. And this was just an aside, because I doubt that this is what the actress is even going through. I think she's just being young and stupid and wants to desperately be in the club. And this has always been the easiest and fastest way to get in there and have your name circulate the industry. It's by saying the line. But it also requires a delicate balance. Rachel Zegler, for example, said too many lines. You know? Too many lines over there. Now everyone hates her, including her co-workers. Regardless, here's the answer that she should have given to Variety instead of taking the bait. Soon as she was asked about that, she should have just gone, "Nah, I'm just really excited about this movie. Supergirl is a character that is very dear to me, and I hope that will come across to the fans." That's it. Done. You want to sell your movie? That's how you sell your movie. You don't do it by putting the audience on blast about something that they didn't even do. I swear, man, we have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. Ownership of what? My sister in Krypton, what is you talking about? I wasn't aware that I owned women's bodies. Is there a website where I can check this? Is there some kind of online platform where this is like tracked, and I can check my balance of bodies that I own? Is there some kind of stock market or trading place where I can cash out on them? Because I could really use some quick extra cash, to be honest. So I've been thinking about buying the Angry Joe Show brand from Angry Joe, since now his identity is more like the Soy Joe Show, This also sucks because it takes away from Supergirl. I bet this is what Chris Gore was referring to when he mentioned Rachel Zegler. It's because during that movie's marketing, this is how it started, with the main actress spazzing out and being obnoxious about all manner of social impact bullcrap. I don't think Supergirl is going to be nearly as bad as that movie was. Not nearly as captured by this desire to ideologically bend and break the source material like Snow White was. But I understand the concern with the Rachel Zegler vibes. It's this thing where excess media and the wayward actress make a movie's marketing to be about more incessant fake activism rather than, "Hey, to all the fans of Supergirl, to all starving fans of the decaying DC universe, get hyped because this is for you." Nah, instead, the trailer drops and, bam, right there, right at that moment, immediately off the get-go, we're having to talk about the patriarchy in the industry and oh my god, men are bad and it's so difficult to be a woman in movie making and the comic book space and oh no, the fans think they have ownership over my body, like oh my goodness, how could this be? How could we allow this in this society? It's so bad, like my body, my choice, my body, my frame, my body, my balls. You shouldn't be able to auction me off or demand that I look like the character. Goodness gracious, I am a prisoner in my own flesh. Shut the f*** up. Just promote the movie. What is this about? What do you want? Nobody cares. What's happening even? Do people care about cast accuracy? Of course they do. The people Angry Joe is crying about didn't even say anything about it. They're good with the casting decision. There was no problem here whatsoever until the comment was made, until the article came out. What is it with some people in Hollywood, some actors, getting paid millions and millions of dollars to do their job, but then acting like prisoners of war or something over it? You're in Hollywood. You're rich. Smile, dumbass. Get this, guys. This tweet, the one with Variety talking about this nonsense instead of the actual movie, was my first exposure to the new Supergirl. I saw these parasitic ass access media journalists posting about cringe before I ever saw the trailer flash by my screen. Immediately, right off the get-go, that's a bad sign, brother. If people's first exposure to your new piece of media is annoying outlets that everybody hates already and actors acting obnoxious with lectures that people are exhausted of hearing about, plus me, oh my god, it's so difficult to be a millionaire in Hollywood bullshit, you're already starting off the wrong way, and it's nobody's fault but your own. Like, you go back a few decades, this did not used to be the culture. The culture used to be hyping your shit up. Like, at most, actors, directors, etc. would do some positive, stuff out there like, hey man, stop the war, or hey man, feed the hungry, or hey man, don't do drugs. But now, hey man, f*** the audience. What are you doing? What are you doing, brother? Just put the fucking trailer in the back. Just put the trailer in the Fortnite collab in the bag and get the f*** out of here. But honestly, I don't even mind this. I don't care about seeing these companies screwing up like this. It's inevitable that they will, while they still keep embracing the same rotten culture. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, let them keep screwing up and exposing themselves. That's fine. What I care more about is this turning into yet another one of those cases, as we've seen with countless shows and movies and some games too, of course, where you're obliged to like it. You have to enjoy what's there and praise it, because now it's no longer just a movie or just a game, it's part of the culture war. And so if you don't like it, you're lumped in as, one of the toxic fandom people to be disregarded and shamed. Then another great age of cope ensues, as it did with The Acolyte, for example, where the show was so god-awful, it was so bad that nobody was watching it. It crashed and burned and got a second season cancelled, but if you criticized it, according to the lead actress and the director and loads of access media outlets, you hated women and people of color. I even remember when Disney was forced to admit how terrible the damn thing was, and how poorly it performed by cancelling a season 2, these same activists that rat their way to the top in these companies even blamed Disney. They threw them under the bus. And by the way, this is entirely Disney's fault. I don't feel bad for them at all. They're the ones who laid the groundwork for their studios and fandoms, etc. to be packed with activists like these who think this way, who are literally making self-serving garbage and expecting these companies to front the money for their trash to get made, and also for funding their lavish lifestyles as they rake in that sweet Hollywood contract money. Literally, the show sucks, it underperforms, people are not watching, therefore there is a negative incentive to do a season 2. Like, understand that it flopped so hard that Disney couldn't even be like, nah, you know what, it didn't do that well, but we can still afford to own the chuds and do a season 2 regardless because #activism. Nah, fellas, it was such a dead pile of ass of a show that they couldn't even justify it in that way. So they do the thing that makes sense. They cancel the sequel and these motherfuckers get mad at them and make allegations that it's not a safe space for people to work at. Like, that's so rich, and it's honestly the type of thing that gives me life. It's just too bad that I wasn't making content at the time to go through the cope with you guys, because that's how ungrateful and traitorous those people were. Like, imagine being a woke retard and you got nothing going on, your work can't stand up financially for itself because the modern audience keeps failing to show up. Then lo and behold, one of the biggest entertainment corporations in the world shows up, gives you and a bunch of other wokies a bunch of money, funds several shows and movies for you and all your friends to frolic around and throw politics into, protects you from the audience by joining up with access media and just shitting on criticism. You're literally living on cloud 9 for years, while the money is still fresh and the BlackRock experiment is still ongoing. Life is good, brother. Then one day they do one bad thing. They cancel a season of one of your woke garbage shows because it was about as financially viable as getting kicked in the balls for free, and what do? Instead of taking the L and regrouping with your big daddy corporation that's been coddling you and pushing your agenda for years, they crash out completely and turn on them immediately. Like, it's over. You went against the grain, you cancelled my season 2 that nobody wanted, that's it. Friendship over. Anyway, I kinda lost my train of thought there, and by now I feel like I also exhausted everything that I had to say anyway, so it's time to close this one off. I just don't get Angry Joe's reasoning. I can understand defending an actor for wanting to speak out against something that was done to them, even though we also know that a nasty culture of fraudulent claims was born out of that, such as the whole wacky Me Too movement stuff, but whatever. Exceptions can't always make the rules. Sometimes people have legitimate concerns and they should have that looked over and investigated fairly. Fair enough on that, but that's not what happened here. Millie Alcock, whose name I avoided to say this far into the video because it was too funny and I swear I would have cracked up every single time. So anyway, the actress, the whole article here, it was about nothing. It was about generalities. It was about the same old game that we've been seen getting played time and time again. It doesn't belong in the industry, man. If you're coming out with a new movie, you got a trailer, you got a promotional material, you're out doing interviews, etc., what you do is promote it. Get people excited for it, get people on board, get people hopeful that this is going to be better than what they've been getting for the past 10 years plus. Nobody gives a shit about the rest. Only lobotomites do. Only the little access media who live off of this rage bait. It's about time to get movies and the industry surrounding it to be about the movies instead of shit like this that always ends up dominating the social media space and tainting the waters. It's stupid. Like, please, that's it. It's just stupid. How else do we even explain this? Like, imagine I was making an indie game and I'm releasing it next month or whatever, and instead of promoting it and getting people hyped up about it, I would go on Kotaku and talk about how bad it is to exist in the games industry and how gaming audiences have become too entitled to my sack. Brother, what are you doing, brother? And Joe, where are your balls, dude? You used to be so sharp with all this crap. Even as recent as 4 years ago, you criticized stuff like this, like with the Saints Row reboot, but now you just take it and worse, you defend it. Despite fully knowing the kinds of dirty tricks these activists play to dominate discourse around this industry and then use that to get those ethic departments that you acknowledged all the way back in that review to alter content in the products, to mess with the communities around these franchises, etc. Again, fellas, I've pretty much exhausted all that I had to say and show here, so I guess I'll see you on the next video, whichever it may be. Thank you all very much for watching, show the video some love if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.